Okay, so what if the single most powerful tool for managing ADHD wasn't some new app or a complicated planner, but the very walls of your own home? That's exactly what we're diving into today. How we can redesign our living spaces to stop being sources of stress and distraction and start being powerful allies for the ADHD brain. It's all about making that shift from chaos to calm.
So let's jump right in. Here's our roadmap. We're going to start by asking a really important question. Is your home secretly working against you? Then we'll get into the architecture of attention, learn how to design for all of our senses, find the right tools for self-regulation, and finally put it all together to create a clear path from chaos to order.
So, first up, is your home against you? And I mean, this is a question that probably hits close to home for a lot of people, especially on those days where you've lost your keys for the third time and you just feel completely overwhelmed by your own space.
Now, seriously, think about it for a second. That feeling of constantly battling your environment, that's not just in your head. For so many people, a home that's designed for a neurotypical world can feel like a constant uphill struggle.
And you know what? This feeling is not rare at all. Over 15% of the entire world's population is neurodivergent. This isn't some niche issue. It's a huge design challenge that's making us completely rethink how we build and live in our homes.
And this is where we need to make a really crucial shift in how we think about this. If your space feels chaotic, that is not a personal failing. It's a design problem. Our environment has a direct impact on our brains, and while the wrong setup can make symptoms worse, a really thoughtfully designed space can become an incredibly powerful therapeutic tool.
So this brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer: neuro-integrated design. Now, this isn't about chasing the latest aesthetic trends on Instagram. It's a strategy. It's about transforming your home from just a passive background into an active tool that actually helps you with focus, calm, and overall well-being.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we put neuro-integrated design into practice? Well, it all starts with our first pillar, the architecture of attention. This is all about how the physical layout of your home can literally help structure your mind.
The big idea here is to fight what's called cognitive overload. You know, instead of having one big messy space where your work, your relaxation, and your life all blur together, we create structured focus. This just means having clear, distinct zones for different activities. A place for work, a place for chilling out, a place for eating.
And look, you don't need to call a contractor to do this. You can use something as simple as a bookshelf or even the back of your sofa to create a natural boundary. A simple screen or a few climbing plants can create a sense of privacy. And lighting. Lighting is your absolute secret weapon. Bright, focused light tells your brain, hey, it's time to work, while soft ambient light signals, okay, now it's time to relax. But beyond just moving furniture around, there's another layer to this. A really interesting idea that can be a total game changer. The idea is to create a mnemonic map of your home. Okay, so think about how public spaces, like an airport, use signs and symbols to guide you so you don't even have to think about where you're going. You can do the exact same thing at home. Maybe you use color coding for your storage, or you place a little coffee cup sticker in your work zone. This kind of visual navigation reduces the mental energy it takes to remember where everything is and what each space is for. Next up, let's talk about designing for all senses. You know, the ADHD brain can be super sensitive to sensory input, to sounds, to lights, to textures. So our goal here is to create a kind of sensory landscape that actually calms and focuses the mind instead of overwhelming it. Sound is a huge one. We can tackle it in 2 steps. First, there's passive control. This means using things like acoustic panels, thick rugs, or heavy curtains to just soak up all that distracting background noise. Think of it like giving your entire home a pair of built-in noise-canceling headphones. Then you add active control, something like a white noise machine, to mask unpredictable sounds and create a steady, predictable backdrop that's perfect for focus. And lighting is just as critical. Those harsh fluorescent lights can cause intense sensory overload. Natural light is always the best bet. But here's the real pro tip. Use filtered light in the evenings. By blocking out that blue light, you help regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle, which, as you can imagine, is a massive benefit for managing ADHD symptoms. And, hey, don't forget about touch. You don't need some separate, clinical-looking sensory room. Instead, just weave different textures right into your everyday decor. A smooth wooden tabletop, a soft velvet cushion, the cool touch of a metal lamp. This creates this rich sensory landscape that allows for unconscious, stress-reducing sensory regulation all day long.
Okay, let's get practical.
Now we're going to look at some specific tools for self-regulation, items you can actually bring into your home that actively help with focus and calm. A really great place to start is with something called biophilic design. It sounds fancy, but it's really just our built-in, natural need to connect with nature. So bringing the outdoors in with live plants, natural materials like wood and stone, or even the calming sound of a small water fountain can have a powerful effect on reducing stress and improving concentration.
Your furniture can also be an active tool. A rocking chair gives you that calming, rhythmic movement. That's called vestibular input. Then there are things like a mini trampoline or a weighted blanket. They provide deep pressure or proprioceptive input, which can feel just like a secure, comforting hug that helps reduce anxiety and even improve sleep. Now, let's talk about storage, because for the ADHD brain, the phrase out of sight, out of mind is a very, very real problem. But just having open shelves can often create total visual chaos. So, the sweet spot, the perfect middle ground, is what we call visible order. This means using things like clear or color-coded containers so you can easily see what you have without being visually overwhelmed by it all.
All right, let's bring all of this home. It's time to pull all these threads together. In our final section, we're going from chaos to order. This is where we make it all practical and actionable.
Think of this table as your blueprint, right? You create a dedicated focus zone with a proper desk and good directed light. You design a relaxation zone with a comfy sofa and that soft lighting. You can even set up an activity zone with a mini trampoline for a quick energy release. And of course, an organized storage zone with labeled, visible containers. Each space has a clear purpose and the right tools to support it.
And please remember, this is not about a massive, expensive renovation. This is about small, intentional adjustments. Swapping out a light bulb, adding a rug, buying a few clear storage bins. These little changes start to add up, and they can transform a home from a source of daily friction into a genuine sanctuary of support.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. What if your home stopped being just a passive container for your stuff and instead became an active participant in your well-being? What if it wasn't just walls, but your greatest ally?